It occurs to me that I should probably do more of these Speedpaint videos in between gaming stuff since I draw a bit more than I really game. And I record the time lapses for most of them anyway, so I may as well make a few videos explaining my general process for art and some of my thoughts and ideas behind most of my characters that I've made. I'll see how well this goes first before I go committing to anything though. This one's a bit special since it's a redraw of one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. Longtime subscribers may be aware of a certain Angel Dust speed paint I posted in 2020 that did fairly well by my standards, but for those who don't, here it is. Now, the reason this piece is actually so important to me is because this is the first, and up until just recently, only time I had done a full drawing with a background and was legitimately super proud of it. Hell, I'm still kinda proud of it, even if it has aged a bit. So, I thought it'd be fun to go over and point out things I like about this first, and things to improve on in the redraw. So, things I like. The colors, the composition, Angel's expression and general vibe, and the way it really feels like he's looking at himself in the mirror. Now, things I need to change and improve for the redraw. Angel's pose feels really stiff and unnatural. He's a very fluid and expressive character, so there's a fix there. The background feels very flat and empty. There's not very many props actually present in this, and it's kinda canny how little there actually is. You can very clearly tell I did not really use any references when I made this. And I also need to fix a few of the colors because I don't think this boring brown dresser really fits, and I have no idea why I made this bottle up front such a bright blue. It is very out of place. So, with all of that in mind, what do you say we get right to the actual speed paint part of this speed paint video? Sketch! Probably one of the most important parts of any illustration. I got right to work on fixing up Angel's pose here to read a lot more easily as him right in the middle of applying his makeup before a show, and pausing for a moment to admire himself, because he is gorgeous, moi. I also wanted to change the shapes of the dresser and couch in the back. I feel like Valentino's the one who supplies the furniture, and he's kinda got a whole motif with all the hearts and colors red and pink. So I found this cool reference for a fancy looking dresser made out of purple heartwood that really felt perfect. And I found a velvet armchair I liked. You know, the one that's always conveniently present whenever a woman faints or something. Angel felt like the kind of dramatic bitch to have something like that. I was also heavily referencing Vivzi's original art she did of his dressing room, and I noticed these chains hanging from the ceiling, so I added a few too. Last but not least, I made sure to add in more cosmetics around his vanity area and move the rubbers and love letters up front so you can actually see them. Line art. My line art has changed quite a bit in the past year. Vector layers are still a godsend in my process, which for non-art nerds means there's tools that I can use to reshape and push around lines after I've drawn them. I can easily erase overlapping lines and clean them up better, and it stays at the same quality if I use the transform tool on it to resize anything. I've also been using a new pen. I used to use just the basic Clip Studio G pen, but now I use the basic Clip Studio textured pen, which actually makes it a lot easier to connect lines together because of that texture. So I've really been liking that. I've also very recently started thickening lines at key points where there'd be some shadows or places that intersect. And after doing a study of another artist style that I like, I've started using thinner lines for like folds and textures and stuff. I don't know, but it really brings my line art to a whole other level. This piece here isn't a great example, but maybe I'll show off some others I've done as a better example in the future if you guys want. A lot of pinks and purples in this. I tried making the cosmetics look like they'd be a brand from Valentino, because I feel like it just goes well with the rest of his domain in, adult services, shall we say. I found this cool logo just for this project from the Villain Wiki. I know it's not canon, but it sure looks cool. The posters, I made sure to only use screenshots and official art for the show since it's easy to credit it all back to one source, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna draw 4 more illustrations of him just for this. I also thought Angel would be the type to have Polaroids of him and his friends hanging up, which are only from his Voxtagram posts and official prints. A small detail, but I think it adds more to the character. Oh, also, did you guys ever notice they actually changed Angel's colors in his redesign? He's more peachy now than just straight pink. Shading! I don't know why I always try and do a painty kind of style when I do backgrounds. It always kind of screws me over. Except in this instance, which I am absolutely blown away by. I made sure to add in more values and places to really make them defined and pop since that was a bit of an issue in the original. Adding highlights to Angel was a struggle. Since he's already basically white, it was very hard to add any noticeable brightness to where the lights would hit him. I think I got away with it though. It's subtle, but it works. Finishing details. The last few things to add to really bring it together were the details to make it look like a mirror. I added lights to the top and some glassy reflections across the whole piece. A few small details are the little specks that's supposed to look like dust because I've very rarely seen a perfectly clean mirror. I added some scratches going down because I think we all know from the Addict video what happens in front of these mirrors, and I wanted to make it look like he scratched them as he tried to resist or fight back, you know? Lastly, I added a kissy mark in the corner because that's something my mom does on her mirrors, and a personal detail from the artist is always fun. And with that, the drawing is complete. I added the smoke from the cig post-edit, but other than that, I am completely and utterly blown away that I managed to pull this off. My opinion may change in a few years, but I think this is perfect. I seriously love this drawing so much. And hey, if anyone's made it this far, leave a comment below telling me your favorite part about this piece. I love reading your guys' comments. And I've never said this out loud before, but if you like what you see, maybe consider, dropping a little like and subscribe, please. Until next time.